Welcome back to our channel, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and how it can help us navigate life's most challenging truths. Today, we're diving into one of the most profound and often uncomfortable topics: death. Unlike many philosophies that shy away from mortality, Stoicism encourages us to confront death head-on, not with fear, but with acceptance. The Stoics believed that by understanding and embracing the inevitability of death, we can live more fully and purposefully. In this video, we'll explore how Stoicism teaches us to accept mortality and how this mindset can help us transform the way we approach life. Let's get started. Mortality as a motivator for living well. One of the central lessons in Stoic philosophy is that contemplating death isn't meant to depress or scare us. Rather, it's designed to motivate us to live better. The Stoics viewed death as a natural part of life and believed that recognizing its inevitability forces us to prioritize what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, frequently reminded himself of death in his meditations. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This powerful statement urges us to act with urgency and intention. Instead of wasting time on trivial matters, we're reminded to focus on what truly counts: our virtues, relationships, and contributions to the world. For the modern viewer, this concept challenges us to reflect on how we spend our time. Are we living aligned with our values, or are we getting caught up in distractions? By keeping death in mind, we can strip away the inessential and focus on what gives our lives meaning. The practice of Memento Mori, remembering death. One of the most direct Stoic practices for accepting mortality is Memento Mori, which means, remember you must die. This isn't a grim mantra, but rather a liberating one. By regularly reflecting on our mortality, we can free ourselves from the fear of death and live with greater clarity and purpose. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, emphasized this practice in his writings. He said, "Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day." For Seneca, Memento Mori was a reminder to live each day as if it were our last, ensuring that nothing important was left unsaid or undone. In practical terms, this means regularly reflecting on how you're living and whether you're spending your time on things that matter. What conversations, projects, or relationships are you putting off because you assume there will be more time? By embracing Memento Mori, you'll feel a renewed sense of urgency to live authentically and make the most of each moment. Death as a natural process, aligning with nature. The Stoics viewed death not as something to dread, but as a natural part of life's cycle. Everything in the universe, including humans, is subject to nature's laws: birth, growth, decay, and death. By accepting death as part of this natural process, the Stoics believed we could find peace with it. Epictetus, a former slave turned Stoic philosopher, explained it this way: "What harm is there in returning from whence you came? What will the elements feel when they are restored to the place from which they came?" To Epictetus, death wasn't an end but a return to nature. This perspective teaches us that death is not an anomaly to be feared, but an inevitable and neutral part of existence. In our modern context, this can help us adopt a more serene attitude toward death. It reminds us that everything, including our lives, is part of a larger natural order. Instead of fighting against the idea of death, we can accept it as the final stage of life and live with a sense of calm and alignment with nature. Overcoming the fear of death. Focus on what's in our control. One of the most paralyzing aspects of death for many people is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of pain, or fear of non-existence. Stoicism offers a solution to this fear by encouraging us to focus on what we can control, rather than what we cannot. Since death is ultimately beyond our control, the Stoics advise us to direct our attention toward how we live, rather than how we might die. Epictetus famously said, "It's not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." This quote underscores the idea that fearing death only distracts us from truly living. Instead of obsessing over when or how we might die, we should focus on making the most of the time we have. We can't control the length of our lives, but we can control the quality of our actions, thoughts, and relationships. To apply this in daily life, ask yourself, are you avoiding meaningful risks or opportunities because of fear? Are you holding back from living fully due to an underlying fear of the unknown? By focusing on what you can control, your actions and mindset, you can live a life that's driven by purpose rather than fear. Death as a teacher, learning to appreciate life. Ironically, contemplating death can enhance our appreciation for life. When we acknowledge that life is finite, we're reminded to savor the small moments, embrace love and connection, and live with greater awareness. The Stoics believe that death is life's greatest teacher because it shows us how precious and fleeting every experience truly is. Marcus Aurelius advised in Meditations, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. This is a powerful reminder that the inevitability of death should inspire gratitude for the simple act of living. The more we accept the transient nature of life, the more deeply we can appreciate the present moment. In practical terms, this means taking time to appreciate the everyday joys of life, a conversation with a friend, a walk in nature, a moment of silence. By reflecting on death, we're prompted to be more mindful and to experience life in its fullest form, without taking it for granted. Stoic exercises for embracing mortality. To integrate Stoic teachings on death into your life, consider these practical exercises. Daily reflection on mortality. Each morning, take a moment to reflect on the fact that today could be your last. This isn't meant to induce anxiety, but to motivate you to live fully. Ask yourself, if today were my last day, how would I spend it? What would I prioritize? Memento Mori meditation. Practice a short meditation where you visualize your own death, not in a morbid sense, but as a natural part of life. Reflect on how this truth can help you live with greater purpose and less fear. Gratitude journaling. At the end of each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. This practice helps you stay grounded in the present and appreciate the fleeting nature of life. Letting go of control. When you find yourself anxious about the future or about the uncertainties of life, remind yourself of the Stoic principle of focusing only on what you can control. Release your fear of death and refocus on living virtuously in the present. Conclusion. Stoicism teaches us that by confronting and accepting the reality of death, we can live more meaningful, intentional, and fulfilled lives. Rather than fearing death, the Stoics embraced it as a natural and inevitable part of life's journey. Through practices like Memento Mori, we can let go of the fear of mortality and instead focus on what truly matters, living with virtue, love, and purpose. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit from Stoic wisdom. Stay tuned for more insights on how Stoicism can guide us in living better, more balanced lives.